things of that
What's your
nature.
second favorite board game?
After chess,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Unless
love
chess is
backgammon.
not your
I
first one.
love backgammon, actually. Backgammon would be my second favorite. I like Settlers of Catan, although that's kind of a different sort of board game.
Hmm.
So I would say probably, yeah. I love backgammon. That's probably my favorite board game after chess. But I love all sorts of different games these days, and trying to take up TFT and other things. But let's get back to the chess, because this is what we're here
Yeah,
for.
it just started now. So e4, e5. And so Boxbox has been playing, I think, mostly just e4. So it does make sense to see him playing this. Joseph
Mhm.
continuing with a very solid move, knight f6. He's just trying to prepare to castle as fast as possible. And Boxbox goes for g3. Okay, this is a bit surprising.
So this is the Vienna opening. This is an opening I think one of us has played a lot recently in competitive tournaments. So I'm pretty familiar with this setup. I think the reasoning behind this opening by Boxbox is that it follows a theme. So one thing that I noticed against the Sicilian, he's playing the closed. He's playing. What is that?
You had a
Isn't
hard
Knight G4 a move here?
I'm guessing I mean, okay, he has to play d4. There's no other moves. But the engine does like black's position better here.
Right, but I
The
mean, I
eval
was
bar.
trying to think, like, for Boxbox, he does not want to get into trouble in this game, because if he
Mhm.
if he were to end up losing this game somehow, I think he ends up in the unpleasant situation of having to play Voy Boy. I think,
True.
if I have the brackets
True.
correct. And Knight
He
G4 is
doesn't.
not a hard move
Oh
for
no. Okay, d6 just played.
okay, Knight G4 was actually a move that I would have liked. So okay, he goes d6. So now we're back into a normal position. Bishop g2 is played, and it's just a normal position. But as I was saying, like with Boxbox, I think he wants to play similar setups, same development of the knights, the bishop, and the pawns. So it makes sense that he would choose a setup like this.
Well, let's hear what Boxbox is saying now. I'm curious if he was a bit
To
afraid of
first
that
do this
knight
move.
g5 move.
This
Knight
move
g4 move.
prevents bishop here. Oh crap! I was supposed to do it first.
Ah, yeah, he
Uh-oh.
messed up the move order. That's what happened.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
I left a one turn window where he could do that. Oh no.
Oh. Well, he's safe now.
If he finds out that he can put his bishop here, because I forgot to put my pawn here, that is a moderate inconvenience. Oh no, no, no. Oh no.
I love how worried he is about just something that's, a slight mistake.
Right. Well, I mean, I think the thing is, these guys, since they're relatively new to the game, they don't understand that even
How could I let this happen?
they don't understand that like these things are not super dangerous. But it's because they prepared a set opening, they're worried that they did something really wrong, instead of knowing that even though it might be not the best idea, it's still completely okay.
Oh my gosh, his reaction, just the complete
Maybe he won't know how to respond to it properly.
definition of what you're saying, how he's very, very afraid here.
Maybe he will accidentally take my knight. No! It's over. I've lost. He knows how to respond to it.
He's too afraid to make a move like g4 or castle. He just doesn't like keeping that pin there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Is basically the idea behind pushing the pawn was to stop this sort of move. Although I see we have Mr. Gotham Chess, who I believe helped Boxbox in preparation, and he's saying WTF, like this is something normal that he looked at. So I'm not. Maybe Boxbox is simply forgetting the lines that he looked at, possibly.
Right, because with opening theory, when you learn it recently, you want to get it just perfectly, and you always
Mm-hmm.
feel a little worried when you think you're going out of your preparation. It's a less
Right.
safe feeling, so I understand. Okay,
However, the position is very, very good for white here, because you can push the pawn in front of the queen and then push the pawn to f4 as well, and the black bishop is very, very bad on that side of the board.
Right. And if he does want to go for something like that, do you expect that he's going to try to castle on the king side or delay it and try to castle queen side?
I think he should try to castle on the queen side, but I think in general this is yeah, and actually this should be completely fine for white. But I think the fact that he didn't look at the setup maybe is a little bit nervous about it.
Right. Well, he is nervous, but he's still the one who's up on the clock here. So yeah, we do have Swifter who's taking quite a think here. And also, Swifter just has a fantastic cam quality. I mean, look at that definition.
Yeah, it is very, very nice. Some good art behind him too.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so he's taking his time here, which means like he must have seen Bishop G6 or he's considering sacrificing.
Yeah, Boxbox is not drinking a beer, I don't believe. I don't think. Maybe he was. Chad is saying he was drinking a beer, but I don't think he is.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first participant in PogChamps. We had Hutch who was enjoying a beer last time.
Right.
Okay, so do you think there's anything else you might be considering here?
I think Hutch is trying to figure out, or not Hutch, sorry, Swifter is trying to figure out if he can give up a bishop or a knight for this pawn possibly and keep it going.
Mhm.
But Bishop G6 is the obvious retreat, and I think since Swifter is so new to the game, he really should focus on these basic basic ideas of just developing the piece and not trying to give up bishops for pawns or not making sacrifices.
Yep, and he did it. He played Bishop G6, so that's a good move. Although he took almost 2 minutes on it.
Right. So now Boxbox should probably push the pawn to D3 or the pawn to F4 here.
D3 instantly played. He knows the plans here, so I think he's probably following up with F4. I mean, if
The
Levy,
danger with F4 here, I realized, was maybe black can play knight takes E4 or some kind of cheese trick.
that seems
is
like
on the
a
cards.
really hard thing for Swifter to find unless it had been prepared.
Okay, so he castles, which was not the best idea, but Swiftor just responds with a castle, just developing. So now I think this should be very smooth for Boxbox to come out ahead here. If he moves the king and then pushes his pawn again, he should be doing very, very well.
Right. So he has to move his king because he's currently pinned, and then he can go for F4. Um, do you think there's any risk that Boxbox is pushing his pawn so far here in terms of weakening his king side?
No, I think Boxbox is playing correctly. He's being aggressive on the side, so I like what he's done so far. I want to see what conceptual plan he comes up with here because there are a couple ideas that make sense. But he's probably not familiar with the pawns being advanced in front of his king, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. Okay, he does play King H2, very nice move.
Yeah, he saw the idea. Awesome. The pin. I mean, he's pretty tactical. But I guess the other thing is, if you ever try to play F4, Chess.com will just tell you you're in check, and then you'd see it anyway.
That's also true, right? So yeah, so like you're not allowed to int. I mean, that's one of the great things I think for some of these players who are newer is that you can't play a move like that, and your opponent can't capture the king. The software just prevents you from inting. So I think it's very good that you aren't able to do that.
Okay, so now what we're going to need to see from Swifter is making some space for the bishop because we know F4 and F5 is coming. And if he doesn't do anything about it, then he's going to lose a full piece. So
Right.
H6 would be a great move, but how hard do you think that is to find?
I think it's pretty hard to find that move because you don't really want to push pawns in front of your king on that side of the board. So it's a tough move to play. Also, as a beginner, you want to develop your pieces. So
Mhm.
therefore, it's like, how do you bring the pieces in? And he plays A5, which it's a tough move because like you want to bring the queen and the rooks in, but it's very hard to do that. So I think this is actually just going to be very, very rough for Swiftdoor here.
Although he might take on F4 here. That's also somewhat of an intuitive move that would stop the F5 plan losing a bishop.
Yeah, so I think he kind of has to take the pawn. The only other move that makes sense if you push the pawn to h6 here. Ay. And now
Ye-
pawn to f5 is just winning the bishop and probably winning the game. So this is difficult. And I have to remember that I need to close the chat sometimes because chat is really trying hard to get me to laugh with some of their comments.
Hold it in, Hikaru.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So f5 here is just winning the bishop, and Albert's hovering over it, right?
Yeah, he just made the move.
Yeah. So very, very nice play from Box. Very smooth game so far. I kind of expected this, but it's good to see that Swiftor, at least he developed the bishops and the knights and got the king out of the center. Because even though this is going to be a learning experience for him, you want to learn something from the game. So the fact that he's developing his pieces is definitely a good start.
Well, Box is chuckling. We're going to take another peek at his stream to see what he has to say.
Okay, so this bishop is dead. Oh, you know what? Perhaps I should have taken that. Let me do some math really quick. If I take and let him take,
Oh
Am I winning
no.
when I do this?
Oh no. Just move the knight. The bishop can't move, box.
Wait, I might be. I might be.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so the key
Knock it
here
out. I have some time.
is that
Take,
his opponent
take,
can't move the
take,
bishop
just
regardless,
take.
so he doesn't have to go for that, chat.
And then I attack the knight.
Oh no.
I want to say I'm winning, but I don't want to like accidentally blunder a loss here. I want to say I'm winning in this position because then queen comes out soon. But I think I can prevent it. But I think I can prevent it entirely by just like doing something else. The bishop is still trapped.
Yes, exactly. Okay, he found the idea.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Knight d5 is a fantastic move here, and so he avoids giving up the knight. He's going to win the bishop next move, and as far as I can tell, it's looking extremely good for box. He's well on his way to a second victory, and he is on his way to qualifying for the champions bracket. So so far so good for box.
Right. Swifter now. Okay, so your perspective is he should be treating this as a training match, trying to learn as much as possible here. What else do you think he can learn from this game?
I think mainly trying to find ways to try and give up the bishop, but attack. Try to get some attack towards the king. So what he should do here is he should trade the knights, and then move his knight probably backwards. Just try to find a way to attack towards the white king, since the pawns are very open in front of the king. So that's what I would say.
Right. So if you lose material, try to just give yourself any chances. And often the best one is some type of kingside attack. It probably won't work, but if it does, then you'll save your game.
Right, exactly. So I mean, it's looking very good for box. Actually, that does look like a beer. Is that tea
Is it
or
a
is that a
beer?
beer?
It's okay. I would guess it's a tea. I think somebody in his chat needs to find out when it's not emote only. I don't know. Chat, what do you guys think? Green tea, coffee, beer, Chinese tea, or beer? I'm just reading what chat is saying here.
Coffee.
Um,
Actually, no, that's one thing that I thought was very, very interesting is a lot of the players I've noticed before they play their games have actually been drinking like coffee or some kind of energy drink. Whereas like normally if you just go in and play whatever game it is, like people they'll drink from time to have their energy drink from time to time, but they're not really loading up. And it feels like everybody really wants to be super focused and has like caffeine or G Fuel or Monster or something
right.
Before their critical matches.
No, that's fair. Do you drink caffeine before your matches?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, I usually drink caffeine during matches. I mean, I haven't played an online or not online. I haven't played an over board tournament in so long, but yeah, usually I drink coffee before these online competitions, or G Fuel, one of the two usually.
Right. I remember because there was an interesting quote from Magnus Carlsen about how he doesn't drink coffee frequently, so that when he does drink it, it works.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's just your tolerance, basically. So, like,
Right.
I'm basically a caffeine addict. Obviously, I think all streamers are these days, at least if you stream long hours. So because I tend to drink caffeine all the time, like even if I have like 2 cups of coffee or something, it usually doesn't really help me wake up.
Yeah.
Like I had a cup of coffee maybe like 30, 45 minutes ago, and I feel just as tired as I did before. So I'm gonna have to get more caffeine soon.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Well, so Joseph went for a slightly different plan here, or swifter, and he
I like
didn't.
what he's done though. I like it.
Mhm.
He captured. Now it's funny because one of the basics you teach people who are new to the game is to capture towards the center if you're going to end up with pawns that are stacked, like this one on top of the other.
Right.
So I'm very impressed though, because in this case, taking away from the center was correct because you open up the rook.
Mhm. Right. So the rook is opened up, and even though he's down material, you're happy that he's opening up the position because you think it gives him better chances to trick box, right?
Yeah, I think certainly there are more threats of attacking here. So I like what's going on.
Okay, and box just continues his development with bishop e3. But if he plays rook takes f1 and box makes a mistake and plays something like queen takes f1, okay, maybe it's not a mistake, but it seems like there could be some traps with knight takes c2, just tricky moves.
Well, actually, there are a couple tricks here because after rook takes f1, if you take with the bishop, there's knight to f3 check. So if you take with a bishop knight f3, maybe
Mhm.
white is still winning after king g3, but it gets very kind of scary here.
Right, right.
And after queen takes f1, there is knight takes c2. So I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about this last move by BoxBox.
Well, it's going to depend now on Swifter to see rook takes f1. And he's also getting really low on the clock here, so 2 minutes and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I think BoxBox is still very much in the driver's seat, but there are some dangers that are lurking here.
Right. And I love his pose. It reminds me a little bit of Smithers from The Simpsons, like the evil excellent, especially because he's playing.
Sorry, you're Swiftor reminds you of
No,
who?
Box does. Did you ever watch The Simpsons?
He reminds you of sorry, you said Smithers. Sorry. I thought you said Flanders. I thought you meant Ned Flanders. I was really
Oh,
confused.
Mr. Burns, not.
Sorry,
I mixed
sorry.
up the characters. No, I meant Mr. Burns,
Oh, yeah,
billionaire.
of course. Well, that's why I was also confused because when you said Smithers, like I was.
I
Wait, who
butchered
looks like
it.
Mr. Burns? Swiftor does? You mean?
Ugh, I'm gonna move on.
I
I
mean,
killed this
Mr.
reference.
Burns is bald. Like BoxBox can't look like Mr. Smithers.
No, but Mr. Burns does that excellent thing with his hands, and BoxBox keeps putting them together. And let's just go back to the game before I dig myself into an even deeper hole.
Okay. I'm a little confused. No, you're right. I can see, yeah, the fingers, excellent. No, I mean I've watched The Simpsons a lot, but I was just confused because like I was actually thought you meant Swiftor, and then I wasn't sure you meant Smithers or Flanders, and then it's Burns, and it's just all.
There's just too many characters. Come on, keep up, Hikaru. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I watched it for. I mean, I even have the DVDs on my shelf. I watched the first 10 seasons like at least like 4 times, so I'm pretty familiar with The Simpsons. I've watched a lot of Simpsons.
Well, I'm sorry for the confusion, but we do see that Swifter went for queen h4 here. So not rook takes f1, but it's still an aggressive move.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I like it. I really like for someone who's so new to the game, I really do like what Swiftor is doing. He's still losing the game, but he's playing moves that have very good points behind them. They're very logical and they make a lot of sense. So I like what's happening.
Okay, and we got some trades, and now Swifter does have to reply to the threat on his knight. Rook takes f1, I still really like, but it's very difficult to see because it's not replying directly to the threat on d4.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think here what needs to happen is Swiffer needs to trade the knights and maybe take the bishops, or he can take the rook right away, but he has to come up with the right sequence. Playing rook takes rook actually makes a lot of sense here, and it could be quite dangerous. Rook takes rook, queen takes, and then rook to f8. I don't think Swiffer will see it, but I think one of the other players, maybe the champions bracket, could see a tactic like this, and it's actually quite dangerous for BoxBox if it occurs. Although Swiffer is very long time. So I don't think it will happen.
right. So would you think that BoxBox is misplaying this a little bit, or maybe he's underestimating Swifter?
I think maybe he's just underestimating the danger here, possibly. I think that's what I would say, because a player of BoxBox caliber should realize that he's ahead by a bishop and just trade off the knights and the bishops to keep it simple since he's ahead.
Right. Unfortunately, Swifter now under 1 minute on the clock, and that is a very tough situation to be in, especially when you're already down a piece. And now, if he did have any, scary, threatening plans, he's not going to be able to. Oh, what the heck?
Oh, I think that was a slip, right? Was that a slip or not?
I'm trying to watch for his reaction.
With my pawn?
He does. Oh my God!
Wait,
he
what?
saw it.
Who
He
wouldn't
saw
see
it.
a
Oh
pawn
no!
takes queen?
But was that a
no.
slip or not?
The thing is, we don't have his audio, so I can't
okay,
tell.
okay, sure. Okay, let's listen in.
But we're gonna listen
What's
to
the trick?
Box instead, since we only have BoxBox's audio.
I don't see what the trick could possibly be.
BoxBox is just shocked.
What?
See, now he's doing the Mr. Burns hand thing.
But that Mr.
This
Burns
feels
does
like the beginning
he
to a
has the
queen
fingers
sec
pointed
puzzle.
together. BoxBox is doing
And I'm
this,
the victim.
not this. It's like
Yes.
excellent. But the thing, he has the hands together, so it's a little bit different.
Okay.
The gesture, like the spirit of the gesture is
All
correct.
right. Perfectionists over here. Perfectionists.
I mean, to be fair to BoxBox, he's also not like 121 years old. There's that too.
True. But it is menacing because he's playing so well. But okay, now the game is just totally over. Poor Swifter.
Yeah, now this is really Yeah, this is hard to watch now, but
Well, it is. I mean, yeah, he's gonna promote soon, have all of the pieces, and go for a checkmate. So at least he'll put Swifter out of his misery here. But it must have been a mouse slip. But where else would have he tried to put his queen? His knight was under attack. Why was his mouse near the queen to begin with?
yeah, I think probably he just didn't realize the pawn protected. He's so new and he played so well that I think kind of it was inevitable to avoid making a blunder. That's what I would say.
Right, because that's when the time pressure was hitting. Also.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, just tough. I think he just didn't see the pawn was there. I mean, he's
Mhm.
so new to the game that it was bound to happen. And I was very impressed that he held it together that long. Like he was only down one night against one of the favorites in the whole event. And considering that I think he just started out playing chess very recently, there's no shame in this. I think it's very very impressive what has happened.
Yeah, that's true. Um, and it's his turn to move here. I mean, Box is about to promote. He might as well get a queen first. We're very close to
Mhm.
checkmate here.
There's also a chance that Swiftwater doesn't realize that he's gaining time every move since he's so new. There's also that. So he could have panicked. He would be like, "Oh, I've got no time. Like I've just got to make a move." So I think there's. Oh, you know what? Someone in chat just said it. They said maybe he thought the pawn was still pinned on
Oh, that's a
h3. Maybe
good
he thought the
point.
pawn was still pinned. Okay, I could see that actually. I could see that. Yeah, that's definitely
Mhm.
possible.
Well, I mean, we will. I'm guessing we'll get at least Box for the interview here, maybe Swifter as well. So we might get some clarity there. But Box could have promoted and gotten a checkmate right away. He went for this fancy mate instead, which was nice. He's showing off his tactical prowess.
I don't know if it's showing off. I think it's just that he probably saw this in a puzzle and he was able to recall the pattern from the puzzle and just do it. 'Cause
Right.
there are a lot of back rank puzzles
Yeah.
that I've noticed when you're doing Puzzle Rush.
And that's what I kind of mean by it. You can tell that he's been doing his training to see that so quickly and not even think about C8. He just recognized something else instantly.
Yeah, and I think that that's what comes when you put in a lot of work and training. It makes sense that you would see stuff like that.
Well, let's take a quick look at the tournament standings and see what the results today have altered. So Box and Papa Plata, they will both be moving on to the champion division in Group D. We also saw Forsen defeat Slicker. So Forsen and Nim are both moving to the championship bracket. And we're going to see them face off in 3 days from now. So that's super exciting. Did any of the results today surprise you?
Not particularly. No, I mean, I think most of the games went the way I expected them to go. I was just more than anything, I was impressed by Forreston as one of the favorites who I thought in the first game was very shaky. He came out very strong today and played a very good game. So I wouldn't say any of the results surprised me, but I was very impressed that Forreston. I felt that Forreston made a big statement today with his very crisp and clean plays. So that's what that was my biggest takeaway is that Forreston showed that he's for real. The first round he didn't get a good position, but he won the game anyway. But today he was about making a statement and showing that he's one of the favorites in the event. So that was the biggest thing that I took away from today.
Well, we do have one more exciting event today. We are going to be doing the usual post match interviews. Until then, we'll take a short break. We are back. We're joined by Swifter and Box. They just had an exciting game. Although I got asked, Swifter, what happened with the queen blunder at the end there?
I was just an idiot. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And I was like, oh, free pawn. And completely ignoring the thing I told myself like 5 times before the match. It just happens. My brain and my, then it was just me being dumb. That's all.
No, we think what happened is you saw that the pawn was pinned before you moved it without, just you were getting in time pressure, so I guess you
Sure.
just overlooked it.
Yeah. I was definitely did not budget my time very well there. I think there was a good 2 minutes I spent on something that was a really no brainer. So that's on me. So, something for next time.
Well, that's totally fair. And Box, you seemed like you were freaking out in the opening a bit. Did you mess up your preparation or what happened?
I made an incorrect move.
Oh,
I left a one-turn window where he could push his bishop to g4.
oh, and I
I
missed
was
it.
just like, I hope he doesn't find it. I hope he doesn't find it. And then he found it.
Oh, I
And he-
did.
Hikaru, do you want to comment on that move a bit as well? And the
So
idea?
so yeah, so basically, actually, you're wrong. You actually missed knight to g4. This was the move that was actually the problem. Knight to g4 after instead of pushing the pawn, and there's this very nasty checkmate threat. Do you see the position, Box? Do you see it?
Oh yeah, with the bishop.
Right, the bishop and the knight attacking the pawn, and this would have been very, very dangerous for you. So this is actually what you missed. The reason that I know not that you missed this, but this was the specific move, not the bishop move, is because your coach, Gotham Chess, he showed up and he said that this bishop move that Joseph played later is you guys had looked at it or something along those lines.
I see.
I don't, but I'll figure that out later.
But yeah, so anyway, the point is bringing the knight here. There's a checkmate threat towards the white king. So
Okay.
so that's
Okay.
what
Got
this
it.
is.
Got it.
But anyway, yeah. So d6. So are you saying that here you should have played h3 instead of moving the bishop? Is that what you're saying to stop bishop g4?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Also, just h3 is a move I was going to do 100% at some point anyway, and I may as well have done it there to prevent that threat from happening at all.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, so it seemed like you could have played h3 first, but actually bishop g2 and allowing the bishop to go to g4 seemed fine to us and also to Gotham. But I think, it's always scary when you have this preparation, you feel like you deviate from it. I don't know if that's what was happening or there was something specific in the position that scared you.
Yeah, I just did the order wrong and I was freaking out.
Oh, okay. Got it. So let's fast forward a little bit. It was really nice how you were able to trap his bishop on g6. Was this a plan you were familiar with in the Vienna game that you were setting up?
Yes. I only know this because I have gotten my bishop trapped many times before. And I feel like an idiot every time it happens. And I was sitting here thinking like, fine.
Well done.
Well, it did work out there. And I mean, Swifter, you played the opening very well and pretty quickly. And then it seemed like when you started to have trouble was when you were transitioning a bit to the middle game. Would you say that's correct?
Absolutely. I just wasn't sure like what the next move to do and how to like, make my pieces work for me. So definitely something to work on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you will be having slightly easier opponents if you are playing in the contenders bracket. Do you have any thoughts on how you'll fare there?
Not sure. I still think I'll lose, but I'm gonna do my best just to kind of like learn from the experience. I've been playing a lot of my viewers lately and doing the puzzles, and
Mhm.
I mean, I just think it takes me a while to learn things more than others. I'm a slow learner, so all I can do is just kind of play, have fun, and really just try and learn from the experience. So chess is awesome. This past week's been an eye opener for me. Like it really makes me wish I started way sooner. Even last year when I had the opportunity, you know, with Dan and Haas and South by Southwest, I really should have kept on playing there. I think I just got distracted, and it's such an awesome game. So regardless how this tournament works out, I feel like I'm in it going forward. I have had a blast so far, regardless.
Oh, that's awesome. And Hikar, if you want to share what you were saying earlier about how, even though he's playing box, what he really should be focusing on was learning.
Yeah, I thought, just taking it since you're playing as someone who is so strong, definitely much more experience than you've had playing the game, was just like try to follow some fundamentals and the basics. And I thought you did that very well. There was actually a point in the game where you might have had a chance to win the game as well if you'd seen a combination or a sequence of moves. But the
Right.
fact that you actually like developed your pieces, even when you were down by the piece, and you understood to try and open the line for your rook, this F line where your dark rook or your black rook is attacking this white rook at the end of the board. I thought it was very, very good what you did. The fundamentals, you followed a lot of the principles, and that's really what you want to do when you're playing at someone who's so much better. It's just treat it like a learning experience and follow certain rules, and you did a great job of that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and the community is here spamming hearts in the chat. So,
Oh, that's
you know
awesome.
what? I know this is a tough loss, but you've had just such an awesome attitude. So, you do have the community support.
I appreciate it. Learned a ton. So I'm looking forward to the next games for sure.
And Fox, you looked a little bit shocked like a minute ago. What happened?
Huh? Oh, no, he was just, it's just backhanded compliments. Just, I'm a guy, they don't come very often, so it was nice.
Oh, I thought it was that you were confused by me saying that he might have missed a win, actually. Like, you had that look like I thought, like, literally as soon as you're off, you're going to go and put the analysis on it and try to figure out what I was referring to.
Oh, no, I definitely felt like there was some, like, patterns that could lead to a checkmate on me. I played definitely moves I felt just were safe. I was up a piece. I figured, let me just, like, trade down and not lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. So, I mean, Box, you've talked about how, you're playing this, you want to take down Voy, so that's going to be really exciting. Are there any other opponents you think are going to be your biggest competition?
Yeah, actually. I am particularly very afraid of Moist Critical and Ludwig.
Well, but you can't play Ludwig. He's not going to be in your bracket.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
I got
goodness.
him next.
I'm particularly scared of them because their trash talk game is like really good. I don't want to have to like be like the embarrassment that results from like a match with them. Like even when I win, I feel like I lose.
Oh, just because they talk
They're
so
so
much
good at
before.
it. Yeah, they're so good at banter and trash talk.
Okay, well, if you are ready to save some trash talk for them, we'll ask about it next time. So we'll give you your moment to get them back.
I hope
Right.
so. And in terms of just like strong players, I've heard a lot of good things about Hutch. I've never played him myself, but I've just heard he's quite good.
No, that's very fair. Well, Swifter, Boxbox, thank both of you guys for coming to the
I want to
interview.
ask. Can I just interrupt?
Sorry, go
One
ahead,
last question.
Hikaru. Yeah.
Albert, we were wondering what you were drinking. Was that a beer? No,
Okay, that's not
The
the
other
can.
the other
That's
thing.
not
No,
the
no,
can.
no, 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 no. The other thing you're drinking.
Coffee Gold.
Coffee. There we go.
Coffee,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Oh nice. Good
Oh,
stuff.
wait, isn't that Japanese? I think I've
Yes.
had that.
Oh yeah. I'm
Paka.
in vending machines.
Yeah, I think I've actually gotten that in Japan. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, that's a fun question to end it off on. Hikaru was also really addicted to caffeine. Swifter, I don't know about you.
Oh yeah. I'm in the same club. It's like 3 cups of cold brew a day. It's pretty sad.
And I'm in the same boat. So okay, we all have a problem. So none of us have a problem then.
There we go.
Well, thank you so much, Swifter, Boxbox. Really appreciate having you guys on, and good luck in your future games.
Thanks for having us.